everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into Spooky Mountain again and this week's newest episode. I'm sure it's going to be another banger. How are you going, Steph?
I'm really good.
Yes, you are. Everyone's good.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm a little bit sick again, so I apologize if I cough.
That's all right. 'Tis the season to be sick. It's like getting really cold here as well. Like we're in Australia, we're going in, we're in
cold.
autumn, but
no, we're winter now.
Is it?
Aren't we? I'm pretty sure it's winter. It's got to be winter.
No.
So
Winter's
cold.
end of winter. No, start of winter's June.
Are you sure?
Yep. Because my birthday's the end of winter.
Oh my God. It's only autumn. It is
it's fucking freezing
cold. Yeah. Like my house is so sick right now. My child has explosive diarrhea.
No.
It's terrible. I drove up the coast yesterday to go to a funeral of a very loved family member, and we had to leave before even going to the funeral because she was just diarrheaing
Oh, you
everywhere.
didn't even make it to the funerals.
No.
God. Okay.
She's so sick, and so I had to drive for hours back through to the mountains with a diarrhea baby and a vomiting baby.
Oh wow. Okay,
so I'm hoping that I don't become the diarrhea baby after
we don't need two diarrhea babies in the house.
We don't need two diarrhea babies.
My partner will be like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
He's gonna run away from home if I do. But enough about diarrhea. What do you have for your story this week?
Yeah, well, it's hasn't got anything to do with diarrhea.
Oh, that's good.
That's got something to do with children, though.
Oh, okay.
And it's just a really weird mystery, this one.
Oh, I love mysteries.
A child mystery.
Oh, yes. A child mystery.
Yeah.
Okay, is it a spooky-ish one or is it just...
It's very strange. It could... Yeah, it is a bit spooky. It's really unknown where this could go. Like, it's unsolved. Okay. No one knows about these children. And yeah, these kids have just appeared, and no one knows what they are, and yeah, it's a good story. It's creepy. I think it's very creepy and weird.
I have a feeling I might know what it is.
Yes, you might know.
So it's gonna be so funny if it's what I'm thinking of. I started a story a few weeks back about children, and a mystery, and I decided to put it to the side and save it for later.
It could be, because I don't think there's too many.
No, that's it. Well, anyway, even if it's not, I think mysteries may be my favorite like story topic.
I'm really enjoying them too.
Yeah, because they're just really interesting.
What's your one for this week?
Mine is an almost, I guess you could call it a conspiracy, almost cryptid.
Oh my God. Is this your first conspiracy?
I think so.
And cryptid. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is great.
I don't know if you could call it a cryptid. I guess we'll visit that.
Okay.
When the time comes.
Yeah. I don't know what this is.
You've definitely heard of this thing.
Okay.
I think most people have.
Oh, okay.
It's quite a light topic.
Yeah. Cool.
So it's a cute one.
Oh, okay. This is going to be a really fun episode.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great episode.
Yeah. Well, if you're all listening and you're a regular here, you know the drill here. If you'd like to support us, so if there's a few ways you can do that. We do have a Patreon set up. Patreon is a way that you can. We've got a couple of tiers for support, and if you do sign up, you get access to exclusive videos that we've got on there. We've got the show that we did last week. We've got lots of extra ones that we've done in the past. We've got posts that you can read through, extra photos, and then we've also got a private Discord group as well where we can all chat in there. So lots of fun stuff over there. And but yeah, of course, if you don't want to sign up, that's totally okay. We would really appreciate you to just share the podcast around. Just tell your friends we exist, share us on social media, or give us a rating as well on the podcasting platform that you listen to us on, because that helps us majorly and gets people, bumping us up in the podcasting world and getting new people seeing the show.
I've even noticed, like, whenever we get a new review, you know how if you're in, like, podcasts, right, and you type in the name, a list kind of appears of what has, like, a similar name. Each time we get a new review, our name comes up sooner.
Ours is moving up. Yeah.
It's slowly moving up the list.
It's so good, eh? I check it as well now. I'm like, you know what? We're actually doing pretty well.
It makes a huge difference. Yeah. So if you could leave us a review or a rating, you will help us get up higher on that list.
Yeah, majorly.
And I guess another way of also supporting us is following us on social media, on Instagram and Facebook. We are on other social media, but yeah, Instagram is mostly where we do our interacting and stuff, and we reply to messages and we post social photos like pertaining to our stories that we've just done. But yeah, we are on all sorts of platforms, and you can find those platforms either in our show notes or on our website. And something else that you can also find on our website is a link to our SpeakPipe site connection button thing. And SpeakPipe is basically just like a place where you can leave us a voice message, maximum 30-second voice message. And SpeakPipe messages are so much fun. We love listening to them so much.
Them. Yes.
They're always super fun. So you can do that, or just send us an email if you want to say hi with your own spooky story maybe. And our email is spookymountainpodcast@gmail.com. So any of those platforms, yeah, we want to hear from you.
Always. Yeah, we want to hear from, where you're listening to us from. Want to hear your best Aussie accent, want to hear spooky stories, really funny stories. We want to hear it all,
All of the things.
Yeah. So definitely hit us up. But yeah, we've had a really big 2 weeks. So
big 2 weeks.
It wasn't last week, it was a week before. We had our live show, our very first live show at Spooky Hollow. Oh my God, it was such a good turnout.
It was such an amazing experience.
I couldn't believe it. We had really no idea how many tickets we sold. We weren't sure until we got there, and pretty much as soon as the doors opened, like it was just a constant flow of people, and all the seats were filled.
It was a great turnout. It was a really great feeling in the room as well. Everything went really nicely. It was such a great group of people in the audience.
Yeah, it was
such a
really
great
good.
mix.
Like the response was good. Everyone was like talking and laughing. I realized how funny we were. Like
I realized that we're comedians. And that I think the setup was really nice as well.
Yeah.
We were on some we won some really nice lounges and we had some really nice lighting.
It was super cozy in there because it was a freezing night.
But yeah, so thank you everyone who came along, and
Big thank you.
I think all our Patreons know already, but the video is up on Patreon. And some photos. I think we put photos up there. Did we put photos up there?
I don't know if we put photos up. We put some photos up on. We didn't take too many, but we put them up on our social medias. But we've got the whole video of the whole show up on our Patreon. So that was really funny to look back on, but it was really good because we were preparing for a few months for it just to make sure everything went smoothly. And it went really well. Like we were panicking we were going to be too short on time or too long.
It worked out so perfectly.
Perfect.
It was great. Yeah, the timing was really good, and it was pretty nerve-wracking to begin with, to be honest. Like just opening the show was nerve-wracking, but once we got into our stories, like it was really great.
Yeah.
So what were the topics that we covered? What were your topics again?
That's right. So I started off, so we did 3 stories each and we did smaller stories. So they were a bit shorter to make most of the time. So my first one I did, the Vegetable Man.
Oh, that's right.
There was a cryptid called the Vegetable Man who was really fucking weird.
And pretty funny as well.
It was very funny. Yeah, it was a bit of a funny one because it's so absurd.
And obscure.
Yeah,
Like, it's just so crazy.
Crazy weird. And then I did the oh my god, my mind. Oh, the Gosford glyphs.
Oh, that was so good.
Yes,
That was literally amazing.
I'm so happy I did
glad
that
you
story.
covered that one.
And I think this is actually something I will do more in depth of for another episode
Yes.
because so the Gosford glyphs, it's a location in Australia where it's apparently these Egyptian hieroglyphs etched into stone in Australia. And it sounds absurd, but it really is something that exists, and there's over 300 of these etchings. So
And there's some really cool information behind it, just
Yeah.
in terms of like Egyptian history
yes,
and how it could possibly
it could
be connected
possibly
somehow.
be connected. Yeah, so that was, I think we got a good response for that one.
That was great.
And then my last one was a story about a man named Simon Parks.
That's right.
He's an English politician who claims to have had contact with aliens. So it's kind of a bit of the David Huggins vibe with this one.
Yep.
He's pretty much had contact with his alien mother since he was a baby, and he's got alien children and stuff. But that was a wild ride, that one.
I really like that one.
Yeah, that was fun.
Very, very similar to David Huggins for sure.
Yeah.
But different
yeah,
as well.
it was weird.
Possibly another Pimpy Mantis
Yes.
cameo.
100% Pimpy Mantis. And his photos, so he draws his aliens as well. And now they, no offense, Simon Parks, but yeah, the artworks compared to David Huggins ones, they're not as great. So they're very funny.
different.
So they're very different. And I love looking at the drawings of the aliens. So
It's to be progressed. It's to be his artistic skills are to be developed upon.
yes, worded very politely. Yeah.
And my story. So I started off with the Dark Watches of California, which is just like these
Creepy.
weird dark entities that are seen in the Big Sur mountain range, and they just watch you. They just stand there and watch you, and they always wear hats and coats, and they're sometimes seen with canes as well. And I thought that was pretty creepy. And my second story, oh my God, what was my second? Oh, Jonathan Lovett, the weird case of Jonathan Lovett, who was taken by a weird UFO.
That was
out
so
in
good,
New
that
Mexico.
story.
Really good. Very, very similar to like a cattle. It's like a human cattle mutilation story almost. He was found with, it was like 10 miles or something away from where he was taken.
Yeah.
And he was found with like his eyes removed and his tongue, his genitals, his blood was all gone. And it was just, very, very similar to the whole cattle mutilation
Yeah,
thing.
you don't get that with humans.
No,
Not at all.
not at all. It's usually, like deer and
Yeah.
cows and stuff. And my third one was the squonk.
Lovely.
Covered the squonk. That was really fun.
That was such a good one to end on.
I thought so. I thought it would lighten the mood a
Yeah.
bit because the squonk is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But so sad at the
A
same
really
time.
cute, sad cryptid. Just
But the saddest cryptid.
the absolute saddest cryptid.
Yeah. And it was perfect for the show because I've been wanting to do the squonk for a while, but there just wasn't quite enough information to
Yeah.
make a whole story.
Oh, I don't even know
regular
how you'd
episode.
stretch that out.
You couldn't.
Yeah.
You couldn't. Yeah. And like, it was just that perfect way to end the night, I think.
Yeah. That's the way I felt with the Vegetable Man. I was
Yeah.
going to do it for a big episode, but I was like, I really can't
Can't stretch it.
stretch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, even more reason to come to our live shows or sign up to our Patreon so you can just like watch
Yeah.
all these little mini stories that we have.
yeah. So that was a really fun turnout. So thanks again to everyone that came. And then also
Thank you to
just
Spooky
before we start on
Hollow
our
as well.
stories, we've got some I've got some exciting news. So if you follow us on social media, you would have probably seen that I am pregnant and having
Steph is preggo.
baby.
We're having a baby.
Yeah.
I say we like it's both of
we're
us, but it's not.
baby.
It's just Steph.
Oh
but
my
it's
God.
We.
So I finally announced it to everyone. So that's
Yeah.
why we actually had to miss a week last week, because I had a bit of a weird pregnancy
Moment.
moment, and there were some things that I had to deal with. But yeah, it's very exciting. So there is a baby on the way in November,
Yes.
and
A little spooky baby.
yeah, so that's probably why we haven't been doing that many drunk as fuck episodes, because
no more drunk as fuck for a while.
pregnant for a couple of months now. And also the show, I don't know, someone that actually came to the show messaged me today when I announced, and they're like, wow, you hid being pregnant very well at the show. And I'm like, thank you. I really panicked about it.
You tried very hard though. You tried very hard to hide it, and you did good.
Yeah.
You did really good. You definitely couldn't tell that you were pregnant.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to pee halfway through the show.
I know.
Because Steph is peeing a lot at the moment.
I'm peeing so much, yeah. And we fully prepared ourselves a few weeks before. We had the conversation on the podcast saying that we were going to have a break. But I peed twice within the first 10 minutes of actually going to start the show. So yeah, we did well. But
so exciting. I'm so excited for you. Everybody, let's just give a little
yay, thank
clap
you.
for Steph. Yeah. We're all so happy for you.
Yeah, it's all happening. So
yeah, November, it's really not that far away.
It's fucking so close. I know, I'm panicking. There's so much shit I've got to do. And yeah, this is my first kid, so we have no idea what we're doing. We're just consuming all of the knowledge from our
it's such a crazy thing to step into parenthood for the first time. You just don't know what to do.
No idea. And you can take as much advice as you want, and you can't, but it's just not gonna.
You don't know.
You just don't know until it happens. So
because it's I remember when I was pregnant, I was like, how do you bathe the baby?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
I had to watch videos because I just had no idea how to bathe a baby.
Yep.
And it's all stuff like that but it does come instinctually though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if it doesn't feel like it will now, it does.
Yeah. I feel like it will as well. And hopefully, we'll be able to, I'm moving up to the Blue Mountains. So, to be closer to people and yourself as well. I'll be able to surround myself with people that have kids that'll be able to tell me what I'm doing wrong. So yeah, it's going to be a wild few months. So everyone is on board now. So you're all with me.
Yes. I guess we might have to figure out what's going to happen with the podcast in a little while, and which is totally fine.
That'll
totally
have to be on pause for a bit until the baby's
whatever
whatever
happens,
maybe
happens.
not. Maybe I'll have just an actual angel baby that doesn't have vocal cords.
Yes, maybe, but maybe not.
Maybe
and that's
not.
okay if not. I'm sure we'll all be very understanding of that. Because it's for a good cause.
Yeah, that's it. But anyway, enough about babies. Let's move on to children.
Yes, okay, all right.
Grown up babies.
Let's do it. Okay, I'm so excited to
hear
what this is.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this would have been your story.
Okay.
So this is a mystery, as I said before, and it's definitely a head scratcher. No one really knows what the fuck is going on with this story. It's really old, and it comes from the 12th century. You're smiling, I know. About two children who showed up at a village in England.
Yes, this is exactly what I thought it was.
So they didn't know how they got there. They spoke a very strange language, and they had green skin. The story that will take place is one of England's oldest and most unexplained mysteries they have. Tonight I'll be talking about the Green Children of Woolpit.
Oh, yeah. I'm so happy that you're doing this.
That's so
I'm
funny.
so happy. I tried to do this story, and I guess the reason that I put it to the side was because I don't know, I guess I couldn't stretch it enough or it just didn't feel great. So I'm really glad that you're doing it because you will tell this story fantastically.
Yeah, I know what you mean with the stretching. So we'll see. I've definitely dug in pretty deep with this
Awesome.
one. So,
Awesome.
So this all took place in a small rural village called Woolpit, which really wasn't known for much at the time, as it was pretty much a handful of small farms. Just to give you an idea of how small this place was, in 1811, Woolpit only had 625 residents, living in 108 houses.
Oh my God, imagine the population back in whatever it was.
Way back, to the 12th century.
12th century.
Yeah. And we also only have two sources for this story. They say this happened during the reign of King Stephen. So this would have been around 1135 to 1154. So
that is so many years ago.
It's so fucking long ago. These accounts were written by Ralph of Coggeshall and William of Newborough. Oh, fuck, I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Newborough.
But yeah, they were both scholars, so they both wrote about this story. So Woolpit, as it's known today, used to be called Wolfpit from the Old English word, which literally means pit for trapping wolves.
It's very literal.
Very literal yeah.
name.
So the town was surrounded in them. Deep pits that were outlined in stone, most commonly, and they would trap wolves that would wander too close to the village. As you can imagine, this town was very quiet. Nothing really happened there until one day during harvest season, everyone went out to attend to their crops when they noticed two young children near one of the wolf pits. There was a girl and a boy. They were wearing clothes made of unknown fabric. The villagers could not understand what the children were saying, as it was a language they had never heard of before. And the children also had green skin.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the weirdest part of this whole thing is the green skin.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to top it all off, they had creepy green skin. So the children were quickly taken to the town centre so everyone can see what a strange discovery they had made. The children were taken into the home of a knight named Richard de Carn, and were given food and drink, but they did not touch a thing for several days, in fact. They became so exhausted and tired and were starving, but would not eat anything that was given to them. That was until they saw a fresh harvest of green beans. They became so excited when they saw these. So, of course, the villagers gave them the fresh harvest, but the children started to become extremely disappointed as they were trying to open the beanstalks. They were bending the stalks around and no beans were coming out.
So they'd obviously never even seen beans before.
It's so crazy. So one of the villagers grabbed a bean pod and popped it open and showed them, look, the beans are inside the bean pod. So the children were so relieved and they ate as many as they could. They would, in fact, only eat these raw beans for months.
Which is so funny because they are green. The children are green.
They're green, yeah.
And they're only eating green beans.
Yeah, they're only comforted by green things.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they would only eat these green beans for months. But luckily, they did start to learn how to eat other food like bread, which resulted in them starting to lose their green skin and coming back to a more normal colour.
So interesting, isn't it? That it didn't, because I know beans are green, but it didn't happen when they were eating the green beans. So
yeah,
it's like, I don't know if eating that many green beans would also help you stay green, or
yeah, that's like the entire diet. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe we could do a little test.
Yeah,
just to
sure.
see I mean, this is months, so maybe, I don't know. But with their new diet, they were also taught how to speak English so they could communicate better, and the children were also baptized. Not long after this, the boy ended up becoming very sick and depressed and unfortunately passed away, leaving his sister, who actually became a lot stronger and thrived in her new life. You couldn't tell her apart from the other children at this point. Her colour had completely gone and her English was great. Luckily now, as she could speak the same language as the villagers, they were able to discuss where she came from. She would describe coming from a subterranean land called St. Martin's Land. Now, I swear I'm not doing these underworld stories on purpose. They just keep finding me.
It seems to be a running theme.
It just came up. I didn't know. I didn't know they were going to say that when I was starting it. But she would talk about a whole community of people that live down there. It does not receive any sunlight throughout the day, and it would be similar to twilight if it was like the middle of the day. She said. She said it's really not too different from what we have up here, except all the people and everything else there is green.
So everything is just green. It's not just these kids.
Yeah.
Everything.
It's like the blues song, but green. So like, I have a greenhouse with a green window. Green is the colour.
It makes me wonder if it's like something to do with chlorophyll. Is that the right?
Oh.
You know, like the stuff in plants.
Oh.
It's just stuff that makes plants green.
Oh, I don't know.
Because chlorophyll is like very, very green. I know someone that dyed their hair green with chlorophyll.
Really? That's really cool.
So it's like super.
Yeah, maybe they're a
potent
plant. Maybe they're not even a human.
Maybe.
That's interesting. Holy shit, okay. They also said that they're Christian. They have high respect for Saint Martin and they have churches there as well. She would mention that they could see in the distance an illuminated land that was separated by a very large river, which is weird. When the girl was asked how they ended up in Woolpit, she told them all she could remember. The two of them were herding their father's cattle when they started to hear the ringing of church bells. She mentioned that she had now realised these bells were from the monastery in St. Edmunds, which is near Woolpit.
Okay.
The children would follow the noise of the bells, which led them through a large cavern, and then it opened up to an absolute brightness, as they had never seen before. This was sunlight.
Yeah, because it's dark where they are, right?
Yeah. As they had reached above ground, the children became extremely disorientated. And as they wandered out of the cave, barely being able to see anything, they eventually got lost and couldn't find their way back to the cave opening. That is when they came across Woolpit. Sadly, her brother did die a few months later, but the girl lived a long life. She was given the name Agnes and would eventually work as a servant in the household of the knight that invited them in at the start. And later, she would be described as very wanton and impudent. Now, I had to look up what wanton meant.
Wanton, yeah.
And, it means that she was pretty much just very promiscuous and liked sex.
That's so funny that you say that. I've heard this word so much lately.
Oh, really?
And every time I hear it, I'm like, that's such a funny word. I even looked up, like, because I kind of knew the meaning of it, but I was like, isn't that like a Chinese food?
Yeah, wonton, yeah.
But then I realised what it meant.
Yeah, she liked wontons and was very impudent.
I've been hearing that word just so much lately.
That's the first time I've heard of that. But yeah, of course, back then they were quite disturbed by that. They were like, "Oh,
ooh, she's showing her ankles."
Yeah. But yeah, and then impudent, like she just didn't give a fuck what anyone thought, and
Good
she
on
just
her.
did what she wanted. So we love her.
You go, girl.
Yeah, she's great. She did end up getting married to a royal official who was named Richard Barr, who lived in a nearby town as well. And I guess they lived happily ever after until she died. But she never returned to her homeland, which is weird. The final part of that research, kind of about Agnes, now that was done by an author named Duncan Lunan. Now, he was known for his work on astronomy and extraterrestrials.
Okay.
So he did a deep dive on the night Richard DeCarnes. So he's a legitimate knight, and he just went all in.
Right.
Went into his family history, and the knight was the one that stayed in contact with Agnes throughout her whole life. So he was the main one that a lot of people got information about.
Okay.
Duncan says that they think that Agnes and her husband actually had children together, and the descendants are still around today. So he says that he's been able to track, and there's kids that are still attached to her.
So we know that this is definitely a person that existed. This is not just like a crazy tale.
Yeah, because the knight is like an educated, like legitimate person, and they're like, he wouldn't have lied about this. Like,
About it, yeah.
So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so as this is quite a recent addition to the story, like this is like I think this is in the 80s or the 90s. Some people are quite skeptical about this, and they're like, I don't really know if this is real. But it doesn't really change much of the fact anyway of the whole story that's even happened. Like, okay, so yeah, maybe she has children and we know the descendants. Maybe she doesn't. It doesn't matter. This person existed anyway. So
Yeah, exactly.
it doesn't really change too much. So so that's the official story of the Green Children. Well, where do we go from here? So obviously that's the story. Well, we can go down a few routes from here. So we have an explanation from a man named Paul Harris, and he thinks he's got this all figured out.
He's worked it out.
Oh, yeah.
Old Paulo.
So he mentions that in the 12th century, there was an influx of Flemish immigrants that came to England. Sadly, they were not welcomed into the country at all, and they were heavily prosecuted in very large numbers. But when they came over, they also had a different language. They had strange clothing.
Right.
They had an unknown culture. So this would have been very new to everyone in England. So he claims that the Green Children could have been Flemish children that were separated from their parents and became extremely malnourished and wandered off until they found a village. So, okay, if that's real, what about the green skin? So I'm going to mention that. Well, he claims that as the children would have been malnourished, they would have contracted a medical condition called hyperchromic anemia, which can turn your skin color a bit green. And that does kind of make sense as well. You know, as we know, they were feeling quite sick until they started to eat properly.
Yeah.
And then their color went back to normal. There was also apparently a town, he says, called nearby Fornham's St. Martin's.
Okay, so that kind of would make sense.
Yeah, so, you know, when the children talk about their town called St. Martin's Land, okay, that does kind of make sense. And this location did actually have a very large battle occur, which resulted in many Flemish people being murdered. So maybe that could have, you know, these children could have been orphans from that battle.
Yeah, and they were just like living in a cave or something.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So that kind of theory does make a bit more sense. But if you do look really closely, you can definitely poke holes into this. So, for example, the medical condition hyperchromic anemia. Now, this is a real thing. It's legitimate. But you don't actually get the colouring all over your body. It's usually just a bit around your eyes and your fingers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's not like a full green.
Not at all. Also,
Colour
the green is not the green we would expect. It's more of an olive green.
Yes, I think I know what this is. I think I have seen.
Yeah.
Or yeah, I know. What
Yeah,
he's
it's
talking
not
about with that.
like, you know, it's kind of being told like you're telling someone that these children are green. They are green.
I mean,
you know,
this is like what hundreds of years ago in England. I'm sure everybody was anemic.
Exactly.
In this town, and they all had
some
green,
sort of
yellow eyes
as well.
Yeah.
That's it. So let's say, okay, they did have this condition. Maybe they were extremely malnourished. they had a very severe condition.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck did they both have the energy to walk from their old town, what was it called? Farnham St. Martin's, which is like a completely different village, all over to this
into
town.
Woolpit.
Yeah.
Into Woolpit, yeah.
Yeah, so they're not going to have the energy to do that.
No, and they didn't. It wasn't until like later on that the boy got sick
Yeah.
as well.
Yep.
And why were they not eating?
Yes.
Like you would think they would just eat
Exactly.
if they were super malnourished.
Exactly. They would know what food is. So
Yeah.
So the other thing I'll mention as well is if the children were in fact Flemish, the townspeople would have most definitely come across other Flemish people by this point in time, and they would have known who they were. If not, though, the knight most definitely knew the Flemish language.
As an educated
and he was
man.
traveling around. So
Yeah.
and he spent the most of the time with the girls, so that he would have absolutely picked up on that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're living with someone, if you have already experienced a language, I'm sure you would recognize it
Yeah.
at least slightly.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't brought up at all. So
No, okay.
now we move to some more of the far out versions of where these children have come from.
Aliens.
Yep. First off is aliens, of course.
Yep.
Now, looks, I straight up think, I don't think this is an alien story. We've heard so many alien encounters, and we do not hear people talk about aliens with green skin.
No.
It's a really strange thing how we do associate green skin with aliens. That is just common, but I don't know why. Just like an old-fashioned thing because it's like strange.
Yeah,
maybe?
just like a
otherworldly skin color.
It just seems bizarre to have green skin.
Yeah.
And like these kids, like we've heard stories before of potential aliens that seem like they may be pretending to be human. But these kids, they seem too human.
Exactly. That's right.
But just with green skin.
That's right. There's no other physical abnormalities other than their green skin color. That's all there is. If there was something odd, maybe they would have said, oh, their eye size were really big, or they've got
Eyes
weird long
weird.
fingers, or
The
they can
limbs or
read
something.
minds, or
Yeah, totally.
There's always some other freaky shit that comes along with alien encounters.
Or they just act really, they're constantly grinning.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Something like that.
they would always say some like weird phrase over and over again.
Oh, repeatedly.
So now going back to Duncan Loonan's theory, now I did mention him earlier. So he hypothesized that the children were, so this is his kind of idea of what happened. So he thinks that the children were accidentally transported to Woolpit from their home planet as a result of a matter transmitter malfunction.
Of course. This makes perfect sense.
This makes some sense, yeah. So Loonan suggests that the planet from which the children were expelled may be trapped in a synchronous orbit around its sun, presenting the conditions for life only in a narrow twilight zone between a fiercely hot surface and a frozen dark side. So he explains the children's green skin as a side effect of consuming the genetically modified alien plants eaten by the planet's inhabitants.
This is just so specific.
It's very specific, isn't it?
It's not like, oh, they just came from another planet or another time. It's like, no.
And it's not like backed by fact or anything as well. Like, I love how specific it is, but like,
there's no evidence
there's no
for it at all.
evidence of it at all. Yeah. Now, of course, we move to my favorite part of the theory, which again, I'll just say that I did not do this on purpose, but yes, we're going to Hollow Earth. We're going to the Hollow Earth theory. Now, there is most definitely a theory that these kids have come from a subterranean civilization, as it was mentioned in their story. They talk about living in darkness and coming out of a cave. Now, this is a really, really old theory, way beyond the 12th century when people talked about underground worlds. there is a lot of folklore that talks about fairies and dwarf-like creatures that live beneath us. And they associated fairies back then with the colour green. So it's a very kind of like European vibe. Is like the whole...
it's very like lush and green.
Yeah, like forest and like the green.
Yeah.
So a lot of people say that they could be like green fairies from like underworld. And yeah, the children also said like everything was green down there. Like it wasn't just them. Everything was green. So that's a kind of interesting little thing. Now it's a really strange thing though that they do mention that they have the same Christian religion and they have churches. So that's a very... I'm not really sure what to make of that.
No. I feel like if they were from another planet, they probably wouldn't have churches.
Yes. So I think that's probably one of the strangest things.
Yeah.
What I think is really sad is that the girl never attempted to go back to her homeland. She just kind of accepted her new life and lived it. Maybe she was happier here, but if this is true, it's sad to think about her family that has no idea what happened to their children. They're just kind of like,
they just disappeared.
The kids went to go herd the cows and they never came back.
Oh, the green kids are gone.
But another strange thing is we don't hear about the villagers going to try and find the cave because that would be the absolute first thing I'd be doing if something like this happened, you know.
And I feel like that would be such a classic old England village thing to do. It's like, let's go hunt the cave.
Yeah, with the big torches and they said like they could hear the church bells. So it couldn't have been too far from town as well, if that's what they're talking about.
Wild.
I don't even know if there's caves in this type of area, but I think that's a bit
that's
odd.
strange.
But this could have all been just another local legend, as we haven't heard anything like this from anywhere else. Maybe it was just a metaphor for something. It could have been due to the influx of Flemish immigrants, and they made this story trying to get them to assimilate with the culture in England. It talks about two children who were unwell until they both started to eat the food, speak the language, and live the life of the English people at the time.
Yes, okay.
And the girl accepted these changes and she thrived in a life, but the boy didn't survive, you know. So
an old scare tactic to make people assimilate.
And it is a really grim metaphor, but this is something that was not that hard to imagine. Like, this is something that they would have absolutely done back then.
Yeah. I'll stop it with your logical reasoning.
Yeah. I know. But yeah, of course, like I don't really know where to stand on this because of course you can literally put a hole in like every single theory. It's so strange, but
such a bizarre thing.
That's my
I feel
story.
like it like very possibly could be some kind of like medical thing. But also there's like all this other, there's this whole other side to it that just is so strange. Like they came from like a subterranean place where everything was green. So that kind of rules out a medical thing.
That's
because it's...
Yeah, it's so odd because it's so like relatable. Like they look like humans. The only thing that is not human about them is they have green skin. They have churches. They have religion. They said they've got cows. They've got everything else is normal where they are.
So
but
relatable.
But it's just super random that they're in like complete darkness.
It's
and
really
everything's
strange.
green.
Everything's green. It's so strange that the material that they were wearing also was like kind of an unknown material, which kind of also doesn't quite make sense.
That's true. Yeah, I keep forgetting about that. And the language as well.
The language.
It's hard. Like, I don't feel like there would have been too many people coming over at that time. Like, the Flemish is the only thing that you can really put it back to.
Yeah, but I feel like
they were very aware of them.
Surely the people of like these villages would have encountered Flemish people.
Definitely.
I feel like you would recognise the this language that they're using if it was the Flemish people because you would encounter them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd pick up on it. And same with the material that they were wearing as well.
Yeah. It would be cool if someone still had the material. Like,
Yeah.
someone just kept it. But it's a really, it is just a straight up strange mystery.
So strange.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah.
You did a really good job at covering that.
Thank you.
When I was thinking about doing it, I watched a video and I actually saw someone comment on the video who said that they had been a nurse for like many, many years.
Yeah.
And this person was like, I honestly can't think of like any medical reason as to why children would just be like all over green. But then also still be able to walk and talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so
that's
it's
right.
kind of like they were functioning. If you're that green, you might be quite unwell.
Like, even just focusing on one of the issues is like, you know, them saying, "Oh, there's a like an illuminating land in the distance that's separated by water, but they live in like a really dark place."
So bizarre
as well. And it's like, so you have land and water and different, like, it's just,
there's a lot of aspects to it.
So
a lot of different aspects to it. Oh, thank you. I really like that one.
Oh, yeah.
It's really enjoyable. I love a bloody good mystery.
I love them too. It's so good. I'm so excited for your one now because I literally have no idea what it is.
It's like pretty lighthearted compared to a lot of other stuff that I've done.
No worries.
So it's a pretty obscure topic that I'm going to be covering tonight, although in terms of other stories we've covered on this podcast, maybe it's not actually that obscure because we cover some pretty crazy
some weird
shit.
Ones.
So I'm going to be talking about what I guess you could call a conspiracy surrounding an animal that we know did once exist. So I guess you couldn't quite call it a cryptid, but it's thought by some people that perhaps this animal still does exist, despite what we've been told about its extinction. So tonight I'm going to be asking the question, does Megalodon still exist?
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, wow.
A little bit different tonight.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
This was a very fun one
oh
to
my God,
get
that's
into.
So cool.
So first, let's get into some information about Megalodon. The name Megalodon means big tooth, and big tooth it surely had. A tooth from this prehistoric shark could reach up to 7 inches long, which is like disturbingly huge.
Disgusting. Okay.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And it would primarily hunt and feed on fleshy prey such as whales and dolphins.
Whales.
Oh yeah, whales. Do you know how fucking big a megalodon would get?
I mean, I know they're big.
A whale is like an entree.
Oh my God, no. Okay.
Yeah. Like huge, like major apex predator.
Oh.
Like massive animal.
Okay, let me just Google picture of megalodon because now
just
I'm like,
Google
yeah,
a
I know they're
photo.
big, but I haven't really like.
Oh, you haven't actually seen how big they
actually, let me just see a good comparison pic of a.
The comparisons are good.
Oh God!
Next.
Oh my God! Okay, I'm just seeing a comparison from a great white shark.
Yeah,
and it's like 20 times bigger than a great.
It's huge.
I feel a bit sick. All right, continue.
You will never step foot into the ocean again. So, the megalodon, it went extinct about 3.6 million years ago, or so we're told. Anyway, many people, when they think of the megalodon, they think of a giant-sized version of a great white shark. But actually, it wasn't really in the same family of shark as the great white, but was part of a family that is called Odontidae. Odontidae. So hard to say. Odontidae. So hard to say. And this is a family that broke away from the same family as the great white shark during the early Cretaceous period. About 145 million years ago.
Yeah.
So at one point it was the same family, and when Megalodon was first discovered, it was put in the same family as the great white, but then it was eventually taken out.
Okay.
But despite this, the Megalodon was still an absolute beast that you wouldn't want to cross. It's considered to be one of the largest and most powerful animals to have ever existed.
Fuck.
And though we don't know exactly its size due to the fact that we mainly only have fragmented remains, we have to estimate its size from its teeth. And it's approximated that they could grow from between 14 to 23 meters in length.
Okay.
And weighing in, on average, around 48 metric tons.
The actual fuck. I'm really like I really didn't know that the Megalodon was actually real, and it's really starting to process with me now. Like,
Are you serious?
There's actual bones of the Megalodon. I'm not even kidding.
Yes, you.
Oh my fucking
After-
god, my life is like shook right now.
That is so
I didn't think
funny.
it was
You didn't
real.
realize, did you just think it was like a cryptid or something?
Like, I swear I watched.
Then it's
I didn't think it was real. I was
Steph.
like, it's too big to be real. It's so stupid.
No, it was fucking massive. It was real. It was
This
huge.
is
and
fucking terrifying, Jordan. This is so scary. I'm literally never going in the ocean again. I already hate the ocean.
I thought this was going to be a lighthearted one, but
I'm so
obviously this is the
scared.
scariest one I've ever done.
This is fucking hectic. oh
I'm
my.
sorry to just shatter your
No,
world.
because sharks are a very real thing here in Australia. Like,
Oh yeah, there was a man killed
Yeah.
like a couple of months back
yeah,
in a horrible way.
yeah.
by
Like
a
literally
great
like
white
a 20-minute drive from my house.
from your place.
fucking
Yeah.
nuts.
Actually, the exact spot that the man was taken, the exact spot near the rocks.
Mm.
So my partner, he's a diver and he spearfishes. He's been
Oh yeah.
on that spot like countless times.
Yeah.
In that exact spot. where
Wow,
that man
that's
was
really
taken.
crazy. I've been to that like beach area before, and it's an amazing spot. But yes, so many divers go there.
It's scary,
Yikes.
but also it's like it's their home.
Yeah, I know we're going in there, and that's why I stay on the land.
Stay on the sand. Yeah. Get the tan.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Keep out of the Megalodon's territory.
Exactly. Yeah. So, unlike the great white who attacks from the underside of its prey's soft belly, it like comes from underneath. The Megalodon uses pure strength and force to absolutely decimate its prey.
Oh god.
Using the force of its jaws to crunch down through its prey's bones, through the chest cavity while puncturing the heart and lungs. In fact, the strength of its jaws to hunt its prey was so incredible that it had a force of 40,000 pounds or 18,150 kilograms per square inch.
Oh wait, what?
I know. I forgot that was per square inch. So that doesn't sound right to me, though. I do want to double check that 40,000 is the equivalent
right.
of 18.
Yeah, 18,000
150.
kilos.
That's still a lot, but it doesn't sound right. But yeah, anyway, per square inch. And like this is a massive animal, so
It's a garlic press. That's what I'm just thinking. Like
it's a garlic
the
press.
animal is the
yeah.
garlic, and just those little hand crushes of
shark
the
is
garlic.
the press.
The Megalodon is the garlic, and just
It just
explodes.
explodes. Yeah, into its mouth.
Holy
The
shit!
perfect hunting machine. So this is a bite that's even stronger than a T-Rex, which has about mere 12,000 pound per
What a
inch
little
bite
bitch.
force.
Yeah,
A little fucking bitch. Step up your
little
game.
bitch jaw.
Steph. Oh no.
I'm still processing that this is real.
Processing.
I'm still going through it.
You've just gone
I'm going
loopy.
through all the emotions right now.
Oh, and it just gets scarier
my
because
God.
some people think that Megalodon does still exist. But it's thought that competition from other mega sea life combined with oceanic cooling associated with the ice age, as well as the lowering of sea levels, making it harder for Megalodon to find a nursery location to give birth, all contributed to the extinction of the Megalodon. But what if the Megalodon didn't actually go extinct, what if this mega shark still exists somewhere in our waters today? There are many people all around the world who claim that they've seen Megalodon in our waters over the years.
Oh.
And there has been some interesting tooth discoveries that may say otherwise about the Megalodon's apparent extinction. In 1875, British survey ship, the HMS Challenger, was dredging a seabed near the island of Tahiti. When they brought up the contents of the seabed, they discovered that they also brought up a pair of large megalodon teeth, which were quickly sent off for testing. After being carbon dated, it was discovered that this pair of megalodon teeth dated back only 10,000 years.
Oh, wow.
And this is a huge difference in time comparison to the 3.6 million years.
Oh, that is
ago that it apparently went extinct. And this isn't the first time this happened. There was another case of someone finding a meg tooth and it was sent off for dating, and it was around 10,000 years old again.
I was just, I like that you said call it Meg. If
The
I
Meg.
had a name named like Megan and everyone called me Meg for short, I'd say, yeah, it's Meg, but Megalodon is
Meg for
is
Megalodon.
my real name.
Meg. Call me
Meg,
the
short
Meg.
for Megalodon.
It's cute.
I might have to call my baby Megalodon. I
Meg,
think.
but really it's Megalodon. Like, Megalodon is the full name. So another piece of evidence that is used by Megalodon truthers is a photo that was taken on the 18th of December 1942 near Cape Town. The photo is a sepia-toned photo of a German U-boat, which is a German submarine. And the U-boat is mostly submerged underwater, bar the top protruding hatch where there are German soldiers popping out of the top. And they're looking at something in the water. Behind the submarine, you can see in the photo, you can see an extremely large dorsal fin, followed by another extremely large fin that looks like the top of a tail fin.
Oh.
The distance between the two fins that are coming out of the water has been estimated by looking at the size of the people in the U-boat and the distance between the U-boat and the fins. Its size is approximated at 64 feet, about 19.5 meters.
Oh, okay. That's really big. Cape Town's scary because it's kind of like Australia here, like, South Africa. They've got a very large great white population.
Huge. Yeah, if it's not Australia, it's like South Africa.
Yeah, for sure.
It's huge. I actually have an app called, I think it's called like Shark Watch.
Oh.
And it's basically a bunch of sharks that have been tagged by researchers.
Oh, wow.
Excuse me. And you can see in the map all around the world where they are.
Oh, that's
and
so cool.
it's really cool. Yeah, you can see them all around like South Africa and Australia, and you can kind of see them migrate, and yeah, it's really fun.
That's
It's
sick.
a really fun app.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm downloading
And
that.
all the sharks have names as well, so you can click on their tag and it gives you like all their information. It's adorable.
That's awesome.
Yeah, highly recommend everyone getting that. So this photo that I'm talking about, it first came to be well known after the Discovery Channel aired it on a program about megalodons. Although the authentic oh shit. My speech is not working tonight. I'm sorry, everyone. The authenticity of it has been questioned by many, as we're not sure where the original photograph is, and we don't exactly know the specific dates that U-boats would have been around Cape Town.
Right.
People say that the Discovery Channel doctored this image themselves for their documentary.
Would they discourage?
They might. They might. Over the years, they have become less credible
Oh, damn.
as
That sucks.
like a documentary source.
Gosh,
yeah,
yeah.
but
I guess they do Ancient Aliens, don't they?
exactly.
Yeah,
They do Ancient Aliens.
I'm a real Ancient Alien simp, but like,
Same.
yeah, it's not.
It's not based in like fact.
Yeah,
you know,
that's it.
which it used to be. Like Discovery Channel used to be. Now, another reason that Megalodon truthers are convinced that the Meg still roams our waters is that there's been multiple bodies of whales found with what seems like impossibly large injuries to their bodies. In 2009, a father and son were fishing off the shores of Hawaii, and they were just casually filming each other in their little boat when they happened to film across the sands just off from where they were fishing. The footage is shonky, to say the least, but it was found after authorities were called in and the photos were taken that it was a blue whale that had had its entire tail bitten off.
Oh my God.
Yeah, which is a big bite.
It's
a very big bite.
Yep.
And it does seem that the tail was bitten off in one foul swoop. So it wasn't kind of just like ripped and ripped and ripped. It was just like a chomp.
Yeah, right.
A chomp down. There was another blue whale found washed up on a beach in South Africa in 2021. And again, this whale was found just absolutely gutted. The whale's length was about 25 foot long, so 7.6 meters, and its whole midline of the belly was just ripped open.
Ooh.
This one is particularly interesting because where the body was found was in South Africa, and it was near Cape Town, the same area where the supposed U-boat Megalodon fin was captured in photo.
Yeah.
There have been a few other instances around the world of large whales washing up dead and in half without any explanation as to just what could have killed them, which isn't to say that it was the Megalodon, but it was definitely a huge predator of some kind.
Stupidly big.
Stupid big, yeah. There are, of course, people who have just said that they've sighted a Megalodon as well, though just regular sightings without any proof to back these up can be seen as unreliable, which is understandable.
Right.
But sometimes these sightings come from people who seem to be very reliable sources. So I'm going to include them anyway because they're interesting nonetheless.
Yeah.
One sighting that is regularly cited as a reason for people to believe that the Meg is still alive and well today was one that occurred off the coast of Florida in 2012 when the Florida Coast Guard was on duty and in the air in a helicopter on a rescue mission for a group of people who had capsized in a kayak. This incident was recorded on film, as all rescue missions are. When the helicopter had reached their destination, where the capsized kayakers were, you could see the footage focusing on the kayakers as they're still in the water. And the recording is being filmed from right above where they are.
Okay.
So I would say about 10 meters above the people being rescued. As one of the rescuers is readying themselves to be lowered into the water, a dark and absolutely massive shadow is seen gliding by the kayakers.
Oh my God.
And they don't even realise.
Oh.
They don't see it, which is terrifying as fuck.
Yeah, that is so scary. Oh, no.
Yep. You can also faintly make out the shape of its body as well as its long tail kind of like whipping behind it. This shadow has been analysed and named as a possible whale shark that is known to grow to be about 5.5 to 10 meters, but it's been disputed that these types of waters are not the kind of environment that you would actually find a whale shark.
Right.
And as much as whale sharks are extremely large, this shadow is much bigger than the maximum size of a whale shark. Again, not a solid piece of evidence, but definitely an unnerving one, I think.
I think so.
No matter what it is, it's quite scary to see the big shadow kind of go by. Another sighting that fortunately does come with footage was that of a man who, again, was fishing off a little boat, but this time in the waters of Indonesia. In the footage, you can see an absolutely humongous swimming creature just under the surface of the water. And at one point, you can also see its dorsal fin emerging. This footage has also been analysed, and it's estimated that the dorsal fin that came out of the water is about 5 foot tall.
Oh.
Or, as one video that I watched put it, the same height as Danny DeVito wearing a bowler hat.
I'm going to start measuring things by Danny DeVito.
Only Danny DeVito.
That is so funny.
Nothing
In a
else.
bowler hat.
In a bowler hat, yep.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, Danny DeVito isn't that tall, but if you're talking shark fins,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
tall.
Shouldn't be as tall as Danny DeVito.
Fuck no.
No chance. No.
The length of the body is approximately 30 feet in length, or 6 bowler hat wearing Danny DeVitos.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So if Megalodon, who knew that Danny DeVito was going to make an appearance in this story? So if Megalodon does still exist, where would it be hiding? Surely with its huge size, it would be hard for it to be hiding in the shadows unnoticed. Well, there is a theory that the Megalodon is hiding in one of the most mysterious and deepest places on Earth, the Mariana Trench.
Yeah, okay.
The Mariana Trench is the deepest place found on Earth. It's found in the Pacific Ocean, and its deepest point being over 36,000 feet, which is 11,000 meters, which is also about 11 kilometers or 6.8 miles. Just thought I'd cover all the bases there of measurement.
All the different measurements. We've got to do it.
We've got to do
That
it
is
for
so
everyone
deep.
out there in the world. It's huge.
I hate it.
It feels quite spooky thinking about how deep it is.
Yeah. Yeah, seeing
Pretty
like
creeped out by that.
on YouTube when they compare like how deep it is to other parts of the ocean, it's like it's really messed up.
I feel like we can't even like comprehend how deep it is.
No.
I love those comparison videos.
The deep side of the pool used to scare me when I was a kid.
I know, same. I used to think that like a hammerhead shark was hiding down there.
Yeah.
It's going to bite my little toes.
Yeah. I mean, they could be.
It could be. You never know. So the deepest part of the Mariana Trench is called the Challenger Deep. And if you were to fit Mount Everest inside of it, it wouldn't even come close to being submerged by the water.
Okay.
Just, I thought that was a good way of looking at its size to try and wrap it, your mind around how deep it is. So there is a lot we don't know about the Mariana Trench, especially the Challenger Deep. And because of this, it is surmised by some that perhaps this is the hiding place of the Megalodon. The Challenger Deep does seem like quite a formidable place at first glance, but actually it's teeming with life. Huge different groups of sea life live there. Also, on first impression, it seems like quite a cold place, but due to hydrothermal vents, it can also get quite warm too.
Ooh.
So it's really not that inhospitable. Definitely not the barren wasteland that it seems to be viewed as.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be impossible for the Megalodon to exist near the bottom of the trench, but the trench is huge and there are plenty of places that the Meg could be hiding while thriving. Now look, I know this all sounds crazy and a bit wild, the idea of Megalodon living out there somewhere in the depths of the ocean, but there have actually been other incidences in history where previously thought to be extinct species have been rediscovered alive and well. For example, the giant squid.
Yeah.
This animal was thought to be extinct, mostly due to the fact that its size would apparently make it impossible to exist in the ocean without being seen or caught. But in 2006, a group of scientists researching off the island of Ogasawara, my pronunciation is not very good tonight, Ogasawara filmed a giant squid for the first time ever in its natural
Really?
habitat.
2006.
Yep, first time.
They freak me out.
Oh, they are huge.
So, because they have the big eye.
Massive, massive eye. It's like
I hate that.
the size of your head, pretty much.
Oh my God.
Yeah, huge eye.
Like, I think squid, they're so tasty, but the big one, I don't want to see that anywhere near me.
God, its tentacles are so long.
Yeah.
Pretty
I'd
scary.
rather be taken by a giant jellyfish than a squid.
Really?
Yeah. There's something
Why do
about the eye that
Okay.
scares me.
Do jellyfish have eyes?
I don't
No,
know.
I don't think they have eyes.
No.
I don't think they have anything
I don't think they have a brain.
but goo. Yeah, they're just goo.
Yeah, they're just
pretty
a goo
much.
ball.
They're just contained goo.
Goo ball with string.
Yummy. So the giant squid, they manage, the scientists, they manage to catch the giant squid and bring it onto the boat that they were on. And they measured it to be 7 meters long. They can grow to be 13 meters long and weighing up to a ton as well. Myths of the giant squid have existed for over 2,000 years, with stories of the beasts being passed off as lore and tales. That was until we realised that this almost mythical creature was living right in our watery backyards. So we literally thought this was like a cryptid
I love that.
until we got one and we're like, oh, it's a real thing. Another great example of a species thought to be extinct is a fish called the coelacanth. Now, this one is so amazing. It's a fish that is primarily found off the east coast of Africa. And the coelacanth is a fish that up until 1938, we absolutely 100% knew that this fish was extinct. There wasn't even a thought that the coelacanth could be alive still today. We studied its fossils. We placed its time of extinction during the end of the Cretaceous period.
Oh my God.
145 million years ago, same as the Megalodon. Oh wait, no, that's not the same. Hang on.
Cretaceous. Yeah, that's way before them.
Way before the Megalodon. No, I'm thinking of the time that the Meg's family split away from. Yeah.
Oh, right,
I'm
right,
getting
right,
my
right, right.
times mixed up. Yeah. But one day, a local fisherman caught a coelacanth in his net with a bunch of other fish.
Holy shit.
And he realized that this fish looked very different. So after contacting a museum curator named Marjorie Latimer, it was realized that this was the thought to be extinct fish, which is amazing because there wasn't even a thought that, like, there wasn't even the idea out there that it might still exist. It's estimated that discovering a thought to be extinct species is less than 1%. But that's not zero.
Yeah.
It
not zero.
happens, and it has happened before more than a few times. Our oceans are so massive that we have only ventured into 10% of it, leaving 90% untouched. What is in that 90%? Is it the Megalodon? Is it not the Megalodon? Is it other creatures that we thought maybe were extinct? Maybe it's something even more terrifying and ferocious than the Megalodon.
Oh my God.
Though science does tell us that if we believe that the Meg is alive out there, that it's a pretty ridiculous thought. But then again, they also thought that the giant squid and the coelacanth were extinct, so joke's on them. But I think that it could be out there.
I think so.
I think maybe it's hiding in the deep, deep oceans.
90% of the ocean. I mean, I
90%
think
of
it's
the
just
ocean.
full of megalodons.
Full of bloody Megalodons
Who are we to
feasting
say
on
it
giant
doesn't
squid.
exist now?
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
we don't even fucking know. I am shook. Like,
I can't believe how
I don't know.
much you didn't realise the Megalodon didn't
I
exist.
really did not know about it. I just thought it was like, it's like Sharknado, like just like, because I think
you
of the
for
movie
real?
called The Don that I watched.
Yeah.
a while ago. It's got like the rock. It's so bad. Like we watched
Uh-huh.
it as a joke because it's so fucking bad. But it's about a giant Megalodon shark. It was just called the Don.
Uh-huh.
It was horrible, and I was like, "This is so funny."
That's so
Like this is obviously
crazy.
not real.
Megalodon definitely existed. Yeah, you should look at some photos of
I am going to be on YouTube tonight looking at videos of people claiming they've seen
Yes,
the
that
Megalodon. Even though I
one-
know that they're probably not going to
the
be real. It's
one
gonna...
from Indonesia is really
Oh yeah, that's going to freak
weird.
me out.
That's probably my favorite video. But yeah, you should look at photos of its jaw size where people it's
yeah.
jaw size because they have like a jaw bone
Oh.
and teeth, real teeth, and there's photos of people like standing in it.
Oh my god!
And
Yeah,
you can
this
see
is
how big it
blowing my
is.
mind. That this is the
I'm so glad
there's
I just
bones. I
taught you
feel like
that
it's such a
it
fucking
was
dummy.
real.
This
That's
is
hilarious.
amazing.
It's almost like a cryptid coming true
Yes,
for you.
it is. Yeah, it's like me going, yeah, Bigfoot is actually
Real.
real.
It's
There
a real
is, like,
thing. Yeah.
holy shit, that was such a good story, Jordi. That
Science
was
lesson.
I loved it. It
From Spooky
totally was like a
Mountain.
really awesome like science lesson. Yeah. That was so good. Oh my god. I did not expect that at all.
I wasn't expecting you to be so surprised.
I know. I know. And anyone who's named Meg out there, you have to officially name yourself Megalodon.
Uh-huh. So when I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be talking about the Megalodon, did you think it was going to be like some kind of mythical, or not mythical, but like lore story or something?
I was just thinking that you're going to talk about stories about the Megalodon of people that's claimed that it's real.
Oh,
and that
but,
it exists.
but it's not actually real.
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
actually real, but people that are like, yeah, the Megalodon, I've seen it.
It exists. It's a real
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
There you go.
That was awesome. That was really good.
Cool. I'm so happy to have broken the news to you.
Yeah, you broke my
Your
my
brain.
Meg. I don't know.
Virginity?
Yeah, my Megginity.
Yeah, Megginity. Yeah, but I mean, you're the pregnant one in this
Oh,
situation, so
Yeah.
let's not use that word.
yeah, we can't use that word anymore. Yeah. I've done it once and this is what happens.
Exactly.
So
One time. That's all it takes is
it's all
one
it
time.
takes. Just one time. Oh my god.
Well, that was a great episode. Two really good stories.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah, good to be back. Sorry for
back.
missing the week, but it had to be done. These things happen.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
I guess we also just want to say thank you to our patrons. We love you so much. Thank you for
Big thank
supporting
you.
us. If you want to join Patreon, you can find it through our website.
Yeah. Or the link in the show notes as well.
Link
There's
in the
just
show
a
notes,
nice, easy
yeah.
link. Yeah. Thanks again, everyone, for listening. And we'll speak to you next week.
Speak to you then.
Bye.
Bye. This episode of Spooky Mountain was created and recorded on land of the original custodians, the Gundungurra and Bidjigal people. We pay respects to the past, present, and emerging mob. My name is Jordi, and I'm a proud Gunya woman. Thank you for listening.